You can order Case IH Axial-Flow Flagship combines factory equipped with Smart.Tracks rubber tracks. You might be wondering, why put tracks on a combine? The answer is because tracks provide better flotation, less soil compaction, and better traction in very severe ground conditions. This results in a significant productivity advantage because your customers can get into the field when they normally couldn't without tracks. Not only do Smart.Tracks offer superior traction in damp and muddy conditions, the decreased soil compaction enhances soil fertility. In fact, Smart.Tracks offers 60% less soil compaction compared to 520-85R42 duals. In turning radius, however, it's comparable to a 960R32 single-wheeled machine with plus or minus 10-degree oscillation. Smart.Tracks move easily over levees, swales, and ditches to keep the combine moving in uneven terrain. It's important for dealer technicians to be aware of new maintenance issues when wheels are replaced with tracks. Correct track alignment will result in maximum track life. In this TechCom, you'll learn about track setup and alignment, standard track maintenance, and issues related to severe conditions. You've completed Section 1, Introduction. The information in this section is based upon the installation instructions found on the DMC website. Track misalignment causes excessive track temperatures and/or delamination of the rubber-covered rollers during extended road transport. Keep in mind that more moving parts equal more maintenance. Tracks have many benefits, but they do require more attention than a set of tires. We will not cover all the installation steps here, but the following steps are very important. When installing the tension rods, which are also called tensioner tubes, wait to tighten them until the rest of the track system has been assembled. When the rest of the kit is assembled, apply only 68 Newton meters while the unit is on jack stands with no header attached. This will provide better alignment at delivery. Lack of lubricant can cause the track to stay in its current alignment, regardless of what is done to adjust it, because hot rubber tracks and hot rubber rollers won't align. New rubber tracks must be preconditioned before initial use and before roading the combine on clean, hard roads to reduce accelerated belt scuffing. New tracks should be preconditioned with dirt or some other non-caustic particulate material, such as floor dry or talcum powder. This is done by spreading a thin layer of the material over the entire undercarriage engaging surface of the belts and driving the combine slowly for a brief time. The silica present in dirt or a similar material will act as a lubricant and help the track conditioning process. Conditioning may need to be done more than once if the combine is roaded for extended distances. Tracks use a dry lubricant because it reduces friction, which reduces heat. Closely monitor the track conditioning process for the first 150 hours of service. After a reasonable amount of field time, the drive lug contact areas will surface harden and become more resistant to heat and scuffing. The alignment run ensures the tracks are properly aligned before delivering the combine to the customer. The objective is to center the drive lugs between the idler wheels. It's a good idea to perform this procedure with two people, one to drive the combine and the other to ratchet the lugs. Begin by positioning the combine on a gravel surface where the combine can be moved both forward and reverse approximately 75 meters. After ensuring the tracks are properly lubricated, reverse the unit 75 meters, then drive forward at a minimum speed of 24 kilometers per hour, ensuring the combine is kept in a straight line. Do not take your hands off the steering wheel. As the unit speeds up, the tracks tend to run farther to the outside. Running the tractor at 24 kilometers per hour gives a more accurate representation of the tracks at road speeds. At about 75 meters, stop the combine, apply the parking brake, and turn off the engine. Visually inspect the rubber track lugs for central alignment between both the front and rear idler wheels on both sides of the machine. When you measure the gap on both sides of the rubber track lugs, the lugs should be centered between the inboard and outboard idlers and rollers, and should not be contacting the sides of the idlers or rollers. The distance from the lug to the idler wheel must not be less than 6 millimeters. You should be able to reach between the idlers on all sides and have a reasonable gap. The lugs will likely not run perfectly centered between the front and rear idlers. This is simply caused by the way the alignment is achieved. This procedure should not create heat. Do not place your hands on the lugs after roading. They will be hot. If these surfaces are too hot to touch, the track is contacting idlers or rollers, and you need to adjust the alignment. Loosen the 6 retaining bolts on the track adjusting plates. There are 3 on the front track adjusting plate and 3 on the rear track adjusting plate. Do not remove the bolts. Using the track idler alignment adjusting bolt, move the track idler assembly as required to correct the misalignment. If the track is rubbing on the outside of the idlers or rollers, the track needs to move inward toward the combine. To move the track inward, move the yoke plate rearward. If the track is rubbing on the inside of the idlers or rollers, the track needs to move outward, away from the combine. To move the track outward, move the yoke plate forward. Turn the adjusting bolt in half-turn increments. After each increment, tighten the 6 yoke plate bolts. After the bolts are tightened to spec, drive the combine forward and reverse and recheck the track alignment. Continue this process until the drive lugs are centered. This procedure takes an average of 8 to 10 runs to get the correct alignment. Align both tracks at the same time. One track can affect the other. After initial conditioning and alignment, the combine should be operated in normal field operations to further condition the tracks. After the tracks are aligned, the unit is ready to be roaded for temperature measurement. Heat is an indicator of wear. Many different areas need to be measured for comparison purposes. Do not drive the combine on the road over long distances with the header attached and/or grain in the grain tank. This can lead to track overheating and severe track damage. Stop and let the track cool periodically if roading for long periods of time. To check for heat, drive the combine on the road for 16 to 19 kilometers at full road speed. Then, measure the surface temperature of the inner rubber portion of all idlers and the rollers toward the track lug using an infrared surface temperature gun. The ideal operating temperature, measured on the idler and roller rubber surfaces, should be below 77 degrees Celsius. Record idler roller temperatures on the CNH track kit thermal logging sheet. Areas with the higher heat indicate track misalignment. Perform the alignment run procedure and recheck alignment. Sometimes tracks may track to the inside but not generate heat. This is not a problem. You've completed Section 2, Track Setup and Alignment. In this section, we demonstrated how to use dry lubricant to lubricate the tracks, how to perform the alignment run, and how to perform the thermal test. Combine tracks are tensioned automatically when you raise the header to full height or swing the unloading auger in or out. There are no grease zerks, so no daily maintenance is required. After the first 3 hours, and then after every 10 hours of operation, tighten the driving wheel and idler wheel bolts until the correct torque is maintained. Daily, or every 10 hours, visually inspect the rubber tracks and undercarriage for damage or fluid leaks. Occasionally, strands of wire may separate from the cables and protrude through the rubber. This is not cause for alarm. However, any exposed cable wire strand should be repaired as soon as possible to prevent further damage to the cable or belt. Repair cables by clipping or grinding the wire strand so that the wire is below the surface of the belt. Cuts, gouges, and minor scuffing and wear on the drive lugs will not cause operational problems. However, a track that's missing 2 or more consecutive drive lugs may cause the track to come off of the drive wheel. This could damage other components on the combine. If a combine is operating in special applications, such as a side hill or anytime you notice accelerated drive lug wear, it may be beneficial to rotate the belts from side to side to distribute the wear pattern evenly and extend track life. Every 100 hours of operation, check the final drive oil level. For the check plug location, refer to the operator's manual. With the combine standing on a level surface, the oil level should reach the bottom of the check plug. If necessary, add oil through the filter breather plug. Check track alignment every 200 hours of operation. The tracks on the combine are a positive drive track system. You should perform periodic inspections to ensure the track drive lugs are centered from side to side through the drive wheel and the front and rear idler wheels to prevent accelerated scuffing of the drive lugs. Service the track rollers and idler wheels every 1,500 hours. Always do the following before lubricating, maintaining, or servicing the machine. Disengage all drives. Engage the parking brake. Lower all attachments to the ground, or raise and engage all safety locks. Shut off the engine. Remove the key from the key switch. Switch off the battery disconnect if installed, and wait for all machine movement to stop. Failure to comply could result in death or serious injury. After observing the safety procedures, clean the area around each hub drain fill plug. The plug must be located at or near the bottom of the hub to drain the oil. Protect the track from oil when you do this. Remove the plug from each hub that is in the correct position for draining, repositioning the combine as required until all hubs are drained. Position the drain plug hole at the top location for filling. Clean the threads of the plug. Fill each hub to the bottom of each plug hole that is located at the top or to the specific capacity, whichever comes first. And install and tighten the plug. Reposition the combine as required to fill all remaining hubs. Refill the hubs with new oil of the specified type only. If the combine is operated under severe conditions, change the idler and roller wheel hub oil every 1,000 hours. Do not substitute with oil of any other type or the seals may be damaged. You've completed Section 3, Standard Track Maintenance. Standard maintenance involves making sure wheel and idler bolts are properly torqued, inspecting the rubber track, maintaining the final drive oil level, checking track alignment, and changing the idler and roller wheel hub oil at specified intervals. When troubleshooting a customer complaint, first check for proper track installation. To do this, check that the tracks are properly lubricated. Ensure the tension rod is loosened and retightened to 68 Newton meters. The track tension rod nuts may have been previously tightened to a much higher value if older installation instructions were followed. This may cause the track to run out of line. After you've checked for proper installation, repeat the alignment runs until you believe the unit is aligned. Then repeat the thermal logging run. If everything checks out, but the customer still has a problem, perform the alignment runs again and ensure the tracks are lubricated after the alignment runs to see what exactly is going on with the alignment. Check the left and right tracks to see if either is rubbing very hard on the outside. Then attempt to adjust the alignment again. If one side's alignment improves, but the other remains hard to the outside, double check that the tension rod has the proper torque applied. Disassemble the track that's rubbing on the outside and inspect the idlers. The bolt that holds the idler in place can shear off from impact with a rock or sharp object. This will move one idler back and cause the track to run to the side with less tension. Replace the broken bolt and recheck alignment. You've completed Section 4, Troubleshooting Track Concerns. In this section, we explain how to double-check the track for correct installation, lubrication, and alignment when a customer reports a track concern. We also showed how to check for a sheared idler bolt. If you've completed all the topics on the main menu, you've completed this TechCom. Don't forget to take the Technician Recognition Test in your TechCom reference manual and take advantage of the benefits of submitting your test answers online through Web University.